You thought I fell off? You're smoking something.
Welcome to Sports Tips UK. I'm Marcus J. Richardson.
And I'm Adam Thorne.
Today we are discussing the big one between Anthony Joshua and Povetkin and a couple of other fights on the undercard. But let's just go straight into the big one. Adam, who's who?
Alexander Povetkin, of course, appeared on Anthony Joshua's last card where he outpointed Joseph Parker, and Povetkin made mincemeat, unfortunately. Had a little wobble against David Price, but then banged him on the chin and put him down and out for the count.
And David Price is also on this night.
David Price has just been announced will be fighting on there as well in a WBC Intercontinental title.
Yeah, there are no odds currently up for that fight because it's only really just been announced, but do potentially add that into the accumulator we're going to give you a little bit later in the video. Okay, Adam, talk to me. Who's going to win then? Let's just go straight in. Who do you think is going to win?
Who do I think is going to win? I think AJ's going to win. There's a lot of hype around Povetkin since he looked so good against Price, and obviously since he's taken a fight. He's AJ's mandatory, so he's got to fight him.
So the argument at the moment is kind of, why isn't AJ fighting Wilder? Why isn't AJ fighting Fury? I mean, maybe not so much with that fight.
Povetkin is the WBA #1 contender, and so they wanted him to fight, and they basically put their foot down. They gave them a bit of leeway, from what Eddie Hearn says, with making the Wilder fight. But when it didn't look like it was going to happen, it got to the point where they were like, you've got to fight Povetkin. And of course, he's having cleverly put him on the previous AJ card. People know who he is in now. So,
well, I suppose most people knew who Povetkin was anyway. Surely?
I don't know if everybody did. Certainly, a lot of the casual fans, should we say, less serious fans. Should we call them less serious?
I've been thinking about this casual tag because if you look at, say, the Premier League, like most people who like football
don't know much about
anything outside of the Premier League, you know, but doesn't not make them a football fan.
True. Okay, so less serious then, I think is kind
okay. We'll go with less serious boxing fan.
A lot of the less serious fans may not have known until he fought Price. They may have seen him fight Vladimir Klitschko. He's had 2 drugs bans, so Boxing News have refused to even rate him in any of their rankings now. They've said anything, if you get 1, fine, they'll forgive that. If you get 2 drugs bans, you won't ever get in their ratings again, which I think is an interesting stand to take.
In boxing, it seems that drugs cheats are quite prevalent, but also get away with things way more in boxing than they do in other sports.
Because it's all about money.
Because, I mean, obviously,
if you're making someone money, you look at some of the guys who, Larry Alumbamiwo, most of you will never have heard of him, British heavyweight, was doing all right. Oddly enough, he's a qualified pharmacist, so who better but to drug cheat than that? He got caught, got banned for 2 years. No one had ever heard of him. He didn't make anyone any money, so got banned for 2 years. Then he went, I'll grass on a load of other drugs cheats. So they knocked his sentence down for 2 years. It's all politics, it's all money. Well,
everyone loves a whistleblower.
Do they?
Julian Assange's doing all right, isn't he? Someone said I look like Julian Assange once.
That's a good one.
Well, I'll stick a picture of him there so anyone who hasn't seen Julian Assange before can make it.
I think he looks a lot paler since he's been in the embassy.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have some vitamin D insufficiency.
Vitamin D deficiency.
Vitamin D deficiency.
There's a lot of talk about how he's going to be AJ's toughest fight. I don't think he will. I think Vlad was. I think this will be AJ's second toughest fight.
This is a good fight to warm up to something big, though, isn't it? Like, it's a good fight leading up to, say, the winner of the Wilder Fury fight.
He got Wembley is already listed on BoxRec as booked for April. So you know that Eddie Hearn today was saying we've got the Wilder fight in April. So that's pretty close to being done if they're talking like that now.
Isn't that a long time to go, though, from September to April without a fight?
Well, it is, but apparently the Americans want an awful lot of
media hype.
And also I think, obviously, Deontay Wilder is fighting in December, potentially fighting in December, November against Fury. So he'll want 4 months to recover and train, which is fine. It depends on how ambitious AJ is in this one, because you know I have my doubts about AJ as being the best in the world, but he's definitely better than Povetkin. Yeah. It's just whether Povetkin comes, roughs him up and does something that AJ isn't prepared for, but AJ prepares like nobody else.
The way I'd describe AJ is he is almost like the Cristiano Ronaldo of boxing in terms of he just works really hard to be what he is and believes his own hype, so then other people believe his hype, and you know, if you believe it, they believe it kind of thing. I didn't give him really enough credit. He's only had 21 fights, you know, and to have achieved what he has in those 21 fights
is astonishing.
It is very, very impressive.
Especially for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Down at the lower weights, fine.
I think if he was an ugly bastard and not so chiseled, I think maybe a few people like myself might be a little bit more inclined to give him more credit. Well, as I say, I'm doing that right now. You know, I looked at a few of his stats before we did this and I thought, you know what, he's done well. I actually fancy him to win on points on Saturday.
Eventually, he'll land on Povetkin, and you know, we saw what Price did when he landed. I think it was a left hook.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true.
Povetkin went back and was only literally saved by the ropes.
That is true.
And he was hurt then, and then he was saved by the bell. And also, Price had just been knocked down himself and wasn't really rushing in to finish it. I think AJ, if he gets that opportunity, he'll close it out.
That's
and
true.
I think he will get that opportunity late in the fight. So I'm going to go with last 3 rounds, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, so you can have a look at the odds there for 10, 11, 12, but you do think it's going to be a stoppage at some point for AJ. Okay, quickly moving on then. Now there's another fight on the undercard there with my man. I say my man, I don't know.
Well, we've both got a man on there, really, haven't we?
Yeah, well, in terms of locale, yeah. I mean, I don't know Matty Askin, but he is from Blackpool, so repping. And you've got Lawrence Okolie.
Well, I live in Hackney, and Lawrence Okolie is a Hackney boy, so...
We'll call it Blackney. No?
No, that sounds quite racist.
Okay, Hackpool.
That's it. That's actually... I like that.
Hackpool. The Hackpool fight. Hackpool. Okay, Matty Askin versus Lawrence Okolie. Now, Matty Askin is the underdog in this one. Lawrence Okolie, obviously quite a strong favourite.
Is he a strong favourite?
Lawrence Okolie is a strong favourite. Lawrence Okolie is...
It shows you how much I look at the odds. I just do the research on the fights.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, well, that's interesting that you think it's closer than the bookies do.
Well, what are they giving on the odds? Actually, don't tell me. I don't know what they mean.
Okay. So. Well, basically, he's odds on, is Okolie. So
right.
that means...
Well, that does surprise me because I actually think we're going to see a really competitive, entertaining fight here. You've got to remember, Okolie's only had 9 fights. He'd won 7, I think, by knockout. Matty Askin's had 27 fights, which I didn't have to check at all.
No.
And the thing with Matty Askin is, all right, he's lost 3, he's drawn 1, or he's had that technical draw, which were you there for?
I was there for, and it was controversial, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, didn't see it, but I've heard all about it from you. Matty Askin is, I would say, one of the most improved fighters in the UK. I think he was working, and because you've got to bear in mind, most boxers, you know, these Sky and BT guys, they don't work for a living, most of them. But, I mean, apart from boxing, if you see what I mean. But Matty Askin was going, a lot of the other guys, you know what it's like, they go out to work, most of them work as personal trainers and stuff like that keeps them in the
Matty
gym.
Askin was a painter and decorator, my mate Jamie Aspinall, so...
Well, there you go. And he's given that up. And since he's...
Jamie, I've just name dropped you, so you better get a semi over that. Go on, carry on.
This is for Matty Askin's British title. Now, since he's given up the painting decorating, he's been on an incredible run of form. I think his last 4 opponents have got... I think I added it up. Yeah. His last 4... Probably no glasses. His last 4 opponents have a record of 51 wins and 2 losses, and he stopped 3 of 4 of them.
Wow.
Those 2 losses were Stephen Simmons. So he beat 3 unbeaten fighters and then knocked Stephen Simmons out for the British title in his last fight, and I was at that in the second round. Look it up. Matty Askin versus Stephen Simmons. One of the most brutal body shots you will ever see.
Really?
Oh, it was crippling. There was no way he was getting up.
So you think Matty Askin's got a good chance then this week?
I think we might see quite a tear up actually, because he'll be confident and he'll come to fight a little bit like Luke Watkins was against Lawrence Okolie in their last fight. And now obviously Luke Watkins got stopped quite quickly, but I think Matty Askin might have a little bit more about him.
Lawrence Okolie's not really been tested then yet, has he?
He's beaten Isaac Chamberlain, which was a good win for him, although it was a bit of a boring fight. If Okolie comes to spoil, or Askin comes to spoil, we could see a technical fight. But they've both got the same physical attributes. They're 6'4" and 6'5", I think, similar reaches. They've both got power, as evidenced by their recent stoppage records. It's Matty Askin's British title, so he's the holder. He's defended it, I think, twice before. So if he wins this, he wins it outright.
He gets to keep the belt, doesn't he?
Gets to keep the Lonsdale. Okay. I think I'm right in saying that.
Anyway, if you want to have a double there, what would you say? So you're going to say a stoppage for AJ, and then put your penis on the line. Who are you going to say for Okolie?
I'm going to go with Okolie, but I'm going to go with Matty Askin to put in an absolute to really give him more than he's had in his career so far.
So you think Okolie back on points?
Yeah, or again late stoppage, but I'll go with points. I think because he might. I think because of the inexperience, I think Okolie might take a similar technical approach to what he did against Chamberlain.
Okay.
And try and spoil the fight initially and tire him down and then go for him towards the end rather than just come out swinging, which he's done in his last 2, which obviously works for him as well.
So if you do fancy a double on AJ stoppage and Okolie just to win, the odds aren't that great there. Now, so maybe throw in Luke
Campbell,
Luke
revenge
Campbell.
or repeat against Yvan Mendy, who's obviously one of the only 2 losses on his record. The other was a not exactly surprising but very good performance against Jorge Linares.
Luke Campbell, though, he's never really fulfilled his potential, has he?
Not yet. I mean, the Linares fight suggested that he can mix it at world level. I wouldn't say he's got loads of personality. I don't think that might be unfair of me to say. He doesn't grab my attention, let's put it that way.
We shouldn't really necessarily judge him on his personality, is
No. He's a good fighter. He's obviously games medalist. And he's now with Shane McGuigan. With pretty much every fighter that's gone with Shane McGuigan has improved drastically. If you look back at Carl Frampton, when he moved to Shane McGuigan, his performances went up. Same with George Groves.
So you fancy Luke Campbell to win that one then?
Yeah.
What, by stoppage?
Not necessarily because he's very hard, this Mendy.
Okay.
And he can bang a bit, and I think they'll maybe just try and outbox him for 12, for 10 or 12 or whatever it is.
Luke Campbell to win, Lawrence Okolie to win, and AJ to win by stoppage. You get in a...
But you could throw in David Price to win to make that interesting when the odds become available.
But do you think David Price is going to win? Quickly,
I don't-
just 30 seconds, go.
I think he has a good chance of winning.
Okay, that was a lot quicker than 30 seconds. Okay, that's been our first video for a long time in our new surroundings. Basically, I've moved house and it's caused me loads of shit, so there's been a delay. But we're back and there'll be videos coming for the next few weeks. So, Merry Christmas and I'll see you soon. I've been Marcus J. Richardson.
And I've been Adam Thorne, and it's not Christmas.
You thought I fell off? You're smoking something.